a very long session with small breaks in between. Break means not moving out, but just to relax and regain for a few seconds. Who is an engineer? What is an engineer's role? What is your duty after becoming an engineer? All these things will be point for discussion today. And as I have told, some of you have become engineers because your relatives are engineers, your brothers, sisters, uncles, or parents would have been engineers. Some would have chosen engineering because your peer group, your friends told that they are going to become engineers. So why can't you also? So the reasons may be myriad. But what brought you here is irrelevant, provided you know what you are going to become. That is more important for us. By becoming an engineer, what is that society expect from you? I think this month is a month of huge recognition and appreciation for engineers in India. What is the reason? In this month specifically, why so much appreciation for the last 2 weeks back, in the 4th week of August, India made history. We were the first country in the world to land on the polar region of the moon. And that too by mostly indigenous research, by research made in India, by the Indian Space Research Organization. We are the 4th country in the world to have a soft landing on the moon. And we are the first country in the world to land on the polar region of the moon, which is a Herculean task. So everywhere the Indian engineers were applauded, recognized, exuberated. Why? Because they have made history. So this month specifically is a month of huge appreciation for the Indian engineers. Engineers have been having a lot of recognition in the country. 2 of our engineers have been given the highest civilian award. Which is the highest civilian award in India? Highest civilian award. No idea. It is called Bharat Ratna, means the jewel of Bharat, the jewel of India. 2 engineers so far got the Bharat Ratna award in India. One is a civil engineer and the other is a defense engineer. Anybody got an idea who are they? The Indian engineers are celebrating Engineers Day on 15th of September every year. That is this week. Today is 13th. Day after tomorrow is the Engineers Day in India. Engineers Day is celebrated as the birth anniversary of one of those engineers who were given Bharat Ratna by the government of India. He is known as the father of Indian engineering. Anybody knows who it is? Any of you? No idea. His name is Sir Mokshagundam Vishwesvaraya. Sir M. Vishwesvaraya. If you come to the principal's room in this college, there will be only 2 photographs displayed there. One is the father of the nation and the other is the father of Indian engineering. That is Sir M. Vishwesvaraya. One more engineer who is a well-known defense engineer all over the world has also been given Bharat Ratna by our country. You are supposed to know his name because Sir M. Vishwesvaraya died long back. He died in 1962. So much before even your parents were born. But the next man would have been familiar to most of you. He was also given the Bharat Ratna. Who is it? I told he is a defense engineer. First one was a civil engineer, this is a defense engineer. Any idea? You can tell me. Guesswork. Be affluent in your answers. Don't worry what the others will think. Yes? Yes, you are right, Abdul Kalam. What is your name? Stand up, Ashwin. So he has given the right answer. No applause here because it's a formal session. Otherwise, I'd have asked you to applaud him. So, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was a second engineer. He is basically defense engineer. He worked in VSSC, worked in DRDO, and was advisor to the Prime Minister, was in charge of the defense research, and ultimately he was the President of India. So maybe the recognitions given to engineers in this country are not limited to these two people. So many engineers were central ministers, not prime minister, only president was an engineer. So many were central ministers. And funnily enough, one of the engineers who was very popular in India, after retirement at the age of 65, he went to US and he is a very great mathematician, Dr. Rao, and he was awarded the Nobel Prize after that, at the age of 70 plus. So, Indian engineers he is basically an engineer, but his Nobel Prize was in statistics related area. Anyway, I am just saying that we are second to none. Indian engineers are some of the best in the world. So, our session today is going to be what is your role as an engineer? What is the way in which you got into engineering is secondary. Maybe by persuasion, by coercion, by attraction, whatever it is. But once you become an engineer, what is your role? And also you have to see what is your value as an engineer. Any human being will have value in two ways. One is the value the society attributes to him or her. Engineer doesn't mean it should be a male candidate. For example, Tessie is the mission director in ISR. She is in charge of the missiles division in ISR. She has done her BTech from Thrissur Engineering College in 1962. She was heading the missile project of ISR. Doesn't mean that she is a lady, so why she can't? She was amongst the hundreds of engineers working there. It is possible. So it doesn't matter whether you are a male or female. It matters whether you are worth enough. So there are two recognitions which attach to an engineer. One is what is called the social recognition. Take for example, Dr. Somnath. Heard his name? Yes or no? Who is Dr. Somnath? He is the chairman of the Indian Space Research Organization. He addressed our students online last year, no? Last year, in 2022 beginning, I think. Dr. Somnath addressed our students online. Maybe we will arrange one more talk with him so that on your inaugural day you have listened to Dr. Subramanian, like that our students online listen to Dr. Somnath. We will arrange once more. Let him be a bit free. Now he is very busy attending receptions.
Now he is in University of Oxford.
Yeah, he is in Oxford right now. That also has come up in the social media. Let him be a bit free. I will ask him to address you people so that you will feel the elegance of being an engineer. Okay. He has studied at Kollam. He took his BTech in 1986 from TKM Engineering College. Okay. So when he addressed our students last time, he spoke for almost 30 minutes, I think. Very at length he spoke to our students. And not only that, he inaugurated our astronomy club, which is active even now. Okay. Now coming to my science topic. In between, after some 20-30 minutes, I will give you some small breaks so that you, instead of sitting in a very composed manner, you will get some time to relax yourself. Whether you chose engineering as a volition or a compulsion is irrelevant now. Now you have chosen yourself to be engineers. Is it readable from that end? It is readable. Okay. My first question is, do society need engineers? I am not going to give you the answer right now. After the end of my talk, answers to all these things will be clear. Do society need engineers? Engineering as a profession is very, very old. The first engineers were civil engineers who made the Roman roads, who made the first dams, who made the pyramids of Egypt, who made the obelisks of the Middle East. They were all engineers. At that time, engineering was concerned only with civil construction. But later, by the 4th century BC, engineering was also concerned with war. Because there were wars in the oceans. Till then, wars were fought on the land. But by 4th century, 5th century BC, wars started. And to be very frank, most of the innovations in engineering were associated with war. For example, the development of aeroplane was associated with the First World War. Though Wright brothers invented the principles in 1901, aeroplanes came into reality because of the First World War. You know that nuclear explosion first happened at Nagasaki and Hiroshima in 1945 as a part of war. And those explosions gave rise to most of the research in the nuclear field, the benefits of which we are reaping right now. That is why history says most of the developments in science and technology were related to war. Maybe it's a negative sense, but it is a reality. So, you would have heard the scientist Archimedes. He was the first mechanical engineer to make a weapon. Archimedes was not an engineer alone. Those times there were no division like engineers, scientists, mathematicians like that. Archimedes was everything. He was a mathematician, he was a scientist, he was an engineer, like mixed in their deals. The first ever mechanical equipment he made was a mechanical catapult, which can attack the ships from 1 kilometer away from the shore. That was the first engineering device, mechanical engineering device made in the world. A catapult. Catapult, heavy stone throwing mechanism. From shore, you can attack a ship. At that time, guns were not there. So ship cannot attack on the shore, 1 kilometer away. But this catapult can destroy the ship from the shore. That was the first ever mechanical device. And you know that in Indian mythology we discuss about what is called the first ever aeroplane. It's only a myth, but it is there. You would have heard which is the aeroplane which is in the Indian mythology. Yes? Heard of it? Aeroplane. Indians do claim that we used aeroplane even at that age. What is its name? Yes? Pushpaga Vimana. Pushpaga Vimana. Pushpaga Vimana, there is a lot of discussion about it in Ramayana. Though it is imaginary, it was an imaginary flying machine. But Valmiki was not knowing about the working of it. It says that it worked by divine power. But the first ever possibility of a flying machine was designed by Leonardo da Vinci. Heard of Da Vinci? Da Vinci was also, he was an artist, he was a writer, he was a philosopher, he was an engineer, he was a designer. At that time, he was an all in all. He has designed the first sketches of a flying machine. So to say, he is called the father of modern engineering design, Leonardo da Vinci. Okay. And many of his paintings are available in the European countries. He was a very great painter also. Next question is, why do we need engineers? Why not scientists? There is a clear definition for engineer and scientist. There is a clear differentiation also. Science is different from engineering. After I discuss in detail, you will know that science is not engineering. But engineering emanated from science, and science is the basis for engineering. We will see that definition. Then comes the next question, are engineers professionals? Who is a professional? Are we professionals? You are going to become engineers, are you going to be a professional? All these questions we will discuss one by one. And next question is there a relationship between society and the engineer? Are they intertwined? Engineer is necessary in society, or society needs engineers. What is the mutually compensating attributes with engineers and society? And another question is society better from engineering? That is, because of our engineering, is society getting benefited? Is society bettering itself? You observe, now we have been living on this world for last 17 or 18 years. You are seeing the changes around. We have seen more changes. For example, in my young days, I could never see a TV. I could never see a mobile phone. I have never seen an air conditioning till the days in which I was in college. So times are changing. What is the role of engineers in all these things? By the time you become grown people, most of these things will be different. For example, last week I was giving an interview in the radio. I talked to them about the half-life period of knowledge. Earlier, the half-life period of knowledge used to be around 50 years. Knowledge, 50% of the knowledge to be replaced. Now, half-life period of knowledge is around 5 years. Means what? Within 5 years, almost 50% of the knowledge will be replaced. New knowledge will come. A lot of new information will come. Everything that we know is not knowledge. What we get basically is data. A lot of information comes to us. This data gets processed within us, it becomes knowledge. And this knowledge, when it comes to a stage of application, otherwise data to information, information to knowledge, it will end up there. But when this knowledge undergoes a process within you, you will be able to apply it, then we call it as wisdom. And wisdom is that changes the society. So engineers need not have knowledge alone. Engineers need not have information is available on fingertip. Now, earlier there was a saying that when I was at a school level, there used to be a saying that if you can remember at least 10% of the things that you studied up to the 10th standard, you can be called a great scholar. Could you get my point? If you can remember at least 10% of the things that you studied up to 10th standard, you can be called a great scholar. Now we have to change it. We have to say that if you can remember at least 1% of the information that has come to you so far, you are a great scholar. What does it mean? You are unable to retain, or your retention of even 1% of the knowledge or information which has come to you is not possible. Why? Because there is what is called a knowledge explosion. We are in the information age right now. Alvin Toffler, the famous social scientist, divides the society into 4 ages. First age is primitive age, when man lived like animal. Second age is agrarian age, when man started cultivation. Third age is industrial age, where we started production at massive scale. And the fourth age is what is called information age, where a lot of information is passing. And now we are talking about a fifth age, which is called the digital age or AI age, where the machines are going to manipulate things. That is going to be the fifth age. Machines will take over the human activities. What level the humans will be able to control it is a concern right now. Like that in the Hindu Itihasa, there are 4 ages. We call it Yuga. Like what, I don't know whether Toffler got that idea from the Hindu mythology. In the Hindu mythology, the ages are Krita Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, Kali Yuga. Heard of it? Equivalent of these 4 ages. In Kali Yuga is supposed to be the culmination of life on earth in Hindu mythology. But in the social science, we are now thinking of a 5th age, which is the digital age, or which is rather the intelligence age. Okay. Now coming to these things, we have to see one by one what way the world is taking note of the changes in the society and the engineers. This is one Theodore von Karman. Von Karman equations you will study when you go for advanced level. Von Karman is a scientist come writer. You will study some of the von Karman equations in your later years, not now, not in the first year. This is a famous statement from von Karman. Scientists study the world as it is. Engineers create the world that never it has been. So we are creators. Okay? We are creators. For example, in the Hindu mythology again, there are 3 gods. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Brahma is the creator. Vishnu is a surveillance agency, seeing that everything is going on well. And Shiva is supposed to be the destruction agency. So what is the role of engineers as per that? Engineers are Brahma, creators. Where scientists are Vishnu, understanding the world or observing the world. Okay, so that is our role. We are creators. You see, once you complete your course, you will feel that you are narrowed down into a parochial stream, whether maybe computer science or electronics or electrical, or even at post-graduation level, you'll be so streamlined into say VLSI or power systems or structural engineering. Your areas will narrow down. If you go to the PhD level, your area will be a specific topic out of millions of topics. So you are going narrower and narrower with specialization. But then you will understand that whatever narrow you are going, your ideas are going to be creative for the world, because you are discussing with creating something, whether it is an electronic circuit, whether it's a new equipment, whether it's a new building, whether it's a new city, whether it's a new power source, we are creators. That is the advantage of the engineers. We are creators, not destructors. So the main focus of scientists is to develop knowledge and understanding on the physical universe. This is what scientists do. They learn. For example, which is the biggest or most popular scientific treatise in the world so far? It was written almost 4.5 centuries back. The most in-depth scientific treatise on the world. Its name is Philosophia Naturalis Principia Mathematica. Who wrote it? Who wrote it? No idea. Sir Isaac Newton. This is a French word. If you convert into English, its meaning is natural philosophy of mathematical principles. It's the most authentic scientific treatise written so far. Now, many of you find difficult to study differentiation and integration. Am I right? The first ever physical concepts of differentiation was given in this particular book. The concept of differentiation was explained centuries back by an Indian. Anyone knows who it is? The concept of differentiation was first discussed in a very famous book, Leelavadi, written by Bhaskaracharya. Bhaskaracharya is believed to be from Kerala, not confirmed. He was a professor at the Nalanda University. Leelavadi was the name of his daughter, and in the name of his daughter, he has written the book, as if he is explaining to Leelavadi the intricate concepts of mathematics. Very simple book, you can read and understand, but concept of differentiation was first introduced there. But in Philosophia Naturalis by Isaac Newton, he has introduced the concept of differentiation and integration. Concept of integration and first ever derivations of differentiation. Okay. That book will be available locally, but anyway, it's of no interest to you because it's in a primitive form. Now integration and differentiation has gone to such a level that if Newton comes now, he may not understand. So it has been grown that much. This is a still better definition by Rumford. Rumford was a scientist, not an engineer. Engineering is the application of science to common purpose of life. Means you have so much theory. You study a lot of science. Science tries to understand the universe. Science tries to understand the phenomena around. But when it is applied to life, what way you can use it? Okay? For example, one of the greatest inventions in the human history is supposed to be the invention of the wheel. Wheel made movement faster. That is why even today, one of the greatest engineering invention in the world was wheel. Even today it's not replaced. Wheel cannot be replaced even today. Whether it is the wheel of a bicycle, or whether it is the wheel of an aeroplane, or whether it is a flywheel attached to the machine, it's a wheel. This is the statement I have added to it. What is the difference between scientists and so far we were talking about what the famous scientists have told. I thought let me add something to it. This is the definition. Scientists study the moon. Engineers send Chandrayaan. Is the difference clear now? This is the role of an engineer. To amass the knowledge and apply it. People may ask, why is it necessary to send the Chandrayaan? If we started such questions earlier, we may not have come to this stage right now. Engineers went on doing things. For example, people many times say that if Niels Bohr didn't dream on a day, electricity would have been impossible. Why? Because one fine night, Niels Bohr, you would have heard, dreamt that the electrons are revolving around the nucleus. That gave rise to the concept of electricity. So, maybe a dream, maybe an imagination, but it changes the world. So, we will discuss the science versus engineering. Science is the pursuit of knowledge in its purest sense, without any concern to the needs of society, whereas engineering is the combination of both. For example, hundreds of PhD theses is being done every year. Most of them will be in science, social science, etc. In India itself, around 15,000 PhD theses is being done every year. What is its outcome? Very many of them have no consequence in the society. Because it is science, they are learning. Science has come from the word scientia to me, which means to learn. They are learning, let them learn. But very few of them comes to the application side. That is what changes the world. So science will go on parallelly. Glimpses of it will come to engineering. That will change the world. This is the usual procedure. And the focus of engineering profession is the application of scientific knowledge to meet societal needs. If you think what the society needs, you become an engineer. Society needs many things. For example, in my young days, I ever dreamt that I have a phone in my pocket. But what was the condition then? Even at your home, you cannot get a phone. You have to wait, booking for a phone and wait for 5 years to get a phone at your home. That was the condition. When I was a graduate and joined a job, I wanted a two-wheeler. Unable to buy. I have money. No two-wheeler in the market. What to do? If you want a two-wheeler, you have to book for a two-wheeler and wait for 2 years. That was the condition. Then what I did? I purchased a second-hand two-wheeler because new one is not available in market. So, needs of the society, but what is the condition now? The global engineering scenario has changed. If you want a two-wheeler, you buy today. If you want a phone, you connect today. So, from 2 years and 5 years, it has reduced to 2 hours and 1 hour, the delivery period. So, society is changing. Switch off your mobile phones. Mobile phones should not be working. I told in the last meeting itself, if sound comes in the class, it will be caught. In your classes also, you have to be careful about it. We are not snatching the phone because we thought you have it. So, connecting science to humanity. Connecting science to daily life is what engineering. So, which has got more social responsibility? Engineering or science? Naturally, engineering. That is why there may be so many scientists, but of no immediate consequence. Whereas engineers have a consequence on the society. Whatever you do will have immediate consequence on the society. That is why, as a professional, so now Who is a professional? A professional is somebody who addresses the society's needs. Society has certain needs. If you address the need of the society, you are called a professional. You are working in a profession. So, is engineer a professional now? Yes or no? Engineer is a professional or not? Yes, engineer is a professional. There are so many other professions also. Medicine is a profession. Legal, advocate is a profession. Like that, these are all professions which are addressing the needs of the society imminently. And so, engineers take into account and show due regard to the consequences of their conduct and the impact of their work on society and citizenry. That is why there is an old saying, if a surgeon makes a mistake, one body will be buried. If a surgeon makes a mistake, one body, that is dead body, will be buried. If an engineer makes a mistake, many bodies will be buried. Take for example, you are a civil engineer. You construct a house. The house collapses. Maybe it's a commercial complex. If it collapses, maybe scores of people will be buried there. Suppose you are a mechanical engineer. You design an automobile. Automobile fails while running. Maybe 50 people will be buried. So the importance of an engineer is much more than the importance of any other professional, because multiple destruction will happen if an engineer fails. That is why the relevance of the engineer is much more than any other professional. If an advocate fails, only one culprit will escape. But that is not the case with an engineer, so many. This requires the engineer to make determined efforts to discover all of the relevant facts concerning the design, development, deployment, and all of the possible outcomes of the choices available that may positively and negatively affect or impact society and the citizenry. This clearly says where the engineer is required. The engineer is required to design. What do you mean by design? Formulating something new is called design. Say for example, making this mic involves a design. Making this podium involves a design. Making this halls involves a design. Making the chair you are sitting on. The chair is designed based on a theory called ergonomics. Not economics, ergonomics. Similarly, this microphone is designed based on signals. So there is a theory behind every design. And this air conditioning is designed based on the cubic volume inside the room. So things are not taken for granted. We take it, we analyze it, and we design it. And once you design, you have to develop it. Development has got two types, the model development and the prototype development. For example, if you want a fan, the first fan tested may not have been like this. It would have been a small model, see whether it works, whether the electromotive force inside the magnetic field causes a rotor to rotate was checked. It worked. Then they thought, okay, this can be applied to a bigger device, that is called the fan. So that is development. An idea, first conceiving the idea is called design. So design engineering is going to be a paper for you. You will study design engineering. What is design engineering? Conceiving the idea, how a chair should be, how a remote control should be, how a mobile should be. These are all designed by engineers. Then development is making it to a model and then a prototype. Model is a miniature thing, whereas a prototype is the real thing. Then after development, deployment is there. What do you mean by deployment? Say for example, the Chandrayaan modules were all designed. It was conceived by our engineers. Then it was developed, means it was fabricated. Fabrication was done at different parts of the country. After all the fabrication is there, it is assembled, and the last stage is deployment. It has to be sent to moon. Then only we can say it worked. Making everything ready and keeping it at the launching pad is not enough. It has to reach the moon, that is deployment. That makes it completement. Take for example a vaccine, the COVID vaccine. Many of you would have taken it. COVID vaccine would have been administered to you by some nurse or some medical staff. But who made that vaccine? Engineers have made it. Because it has to be in a liquid form, in a vaccinable form. And engineering has got a typical branch called biotechnology. BTech biotechnology. They are the people who invented it. Do you get my point? Maybe medical hands provided the scientific background. What should be there? So everything on this earth has got an engineering touch. Like the old story of Midas touch. That Midas touch is the engineer's touch. Everything becomes golden. So whatever you see on this earth, except the nature, nature is by a bigger engineer. Nature's engineering is much bigger than our engineering. Why? Because we are learning from the nature. The man who made tall buildings learned from the tree. The man who made the ship learned from the fish. The man who made the aeroplane learned from the bird. So these originals were designed by whom? These originals were designed by a much bigger engineer. We cannot define that engineer. Would you get my point? We are trying to learn, and the best engineer is the one who learns the highest from nature. So we say in engineering, the best quality of an engineer is a skill of observation. Any engineer who has got the skill of observation becomes a great engineer. Why? You are learning from nature. For example, when the tallest building in the world had to be constructed, which is the tallest building in the world? Burj Khalifa Tower, 828 meters at Dubai. When that was being designed, the design team, it's an American company, they came to Gulf. They started moving around the Gulf region and see which is the natural form which can resist the wind effectively, natural shape. They found that there is a particular flower, a four-petaled flower called Hymenocallis or spider lily. The name of the flower is, it's a big flower. Big flower means bigger than this. It is very stable in the wind in Gulf. They studied that flower. They took the flower to the wind tunnel, conducted wind tunnel experiments. Wind tunnel experiment is conducted on all the satellites. You know, whenever ISRO launches something, before that, VSSC there is a wind tunnel. At Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, there is a wind tunnel. They conduct wind tunnel experiments. How the wind forces, the drag and leeward forces are affecting the shape. Only after that they send to the outside, send to the outer space. And they found that this Hymenocallis is a very resistant structure to wind. They modified the shape of the Hymenocallis from the four-petal shape. They modified it to three-petal shape, which improved the wind resistance. And if you see that Burj Khalifa tower from top, it is in the shape of this flower. What is the name of the flower? Hymenocallis or spider lily. This is learning from nature. How you observe an aeroplane, and after that you try to observe a bird. Both will have the same streamline. Now you don't know what is streamline, you study. In your third year you will study in fluid mechanics what is a streamline. Streamline is that which decides how forces act on a moving body. For every spatial structure, for every air moving structure, streamline is very important. For every water moving structure like ship or submarine, streamline is very important. Where from we get this idea? We studied the streamline of the birds, we study the streamline of the fishes. So nature has given us a lot of things. So the best engineer is the person who learns a lot from nature. Still nature has wonders. Becoming engineer, you try to unravel those mysteries. You become a great engineer. We don't know even 1% of the universe. Not 0.001% of the universe. We are trying to learn more. So universe has got universe has concealed so many mysteries in it. The engineer's role is to unravel it and utilize it for the benefit. We don't know what will be the future of humanity to come, but we are trying to learn it and implement it. And while doing so, we have to ensure that we are ensuring the safety and well-being of the public. We have to protect the public. It is the engineer's role to protect the public. Luckily or unluckily, engineers give everything for the war. Wherever there is a mass destruction, the blast or war, the brain behind is that of engineer, no doubt. But that is because as Bible says, even before human beings were born, Satan was born. Quite natural. So wherever there is positive trend, there is always negative trend. Karl Marx has come up with a new theory which is called dialectical materialism. That is the basis of all Marxian theories, dialectical materialism. It says that there are opposite forces in nature, positive and negative. That is why the world is in equilibrium. So wherever some positive trends are there will be always negative trends. You assume that there is no war on this earth, how the earth would have prospered. But does it happen? You just imagine that there are only good people on this world. So among engineers also, that is why we have got civil engineers and defense engineers. Civil engineers focus on construction. Civil engineer doesn't mean civil engineering alone. Civil, electrical, mechanical, all these engineers are doing civil activities. Whereas defense engineers are focused on war. War is destruction. So engineering has got a bi-pronged approach. Bi-pronged means evils and virtues coexist. Also, it is the engineer's role to ensure that the society's funds and resources are well used. This is one area where engineers are always accused. There was a time in Kerala where the word engineer was synonymous with corruption. Whenever people used to say engineer, they always used to associate with it huge corruption. Nowadays it is changing because nowadays mostly engineers are going to the software. There was a time when engineers were going mostly to construction sector, building sector, industrial sector, etc. At that time corruption was a synonym with engineers. So it is an engineer's role to clean up this. You are the nation builders. Why should you be corrupt? If you want to make more money, there are positive methods. Money you can make by two methods, by positive methods and by negative methods. Making money by negative methods is corruption. Making money by positive methods is achievement, which is to be applauded. So as an engineer, you should find righteous means. For example, your parents are having richness, you can inherit two ways. One is by removing them. One is by coexisting with them. So coexisting with them and inheriting them is a positive method. Instead of doing that, damaging them and catching hold of it is a negative method. So that is equivalent to corruption. So as engineers, you are not supposed to do corruption and make the society of engineers as a whole culprit for it. You have to see that you are doing righteous things. So don't spoil the name of the engineer. As an engineer, you have some bounden duty. Then what is the role of engineering schools? Engineering school means institutions like this, colleges which teach engineers. What is their role? First is educating future engineers like you. Now you will be having high ambition level, I know. When we were engineering students, BTech students, there used to be a saying, That time government jobs were the aspiration for engineers, nowadays not. So at that time people used to tell, while joining for BTech, the aspiration level of a student is that of a chief engineer. After 1 year is over, it will come down to that of a superintending engineer. After 2 years are over, it will come down to that of an executive engineer. And after 4 years degree is over, they desire at least to be an assistant engineer. What the point? So,
മലയാളത്തിൽ ശരിക്കും മനസ്സിലാവുള്ളൂ.
മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയണം, അതായത് എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് ചേരുന്ന സമയത്ത് നിങ്ങളുടെ ആസ്പിറേഷൻ ലെവല് ചീഫ് എഞ്ചിനീയറുടെ തലത്തിലാണ്. ഐ എം ഗോയിങ് ടു ബി എ ചീഫ് എഞ്ചിനീയർ. 1 വർഷം കഴിയുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് അതിന്റെ താഴെയുള്ള സൂപ്പറിൻഡിംഗ് എഞ്ചിനീയർ ലെവലിലേക്ക് താഴും. 2 വർഷം കഴിയുമ്പോൾ അതിന്റെ താഴെയുള്ള എക്സിക്യൂട്ടീവ് എഞ്ചിനീയർ ലെവലിലേക്ക് താഴും. 4 വർഷം കോഴ്സ് കഴിഞ്ഞ് പുറത്തിറങ്ങുമ്പോൾ ഒരു അസിസ്റ്റന്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയറെങ്കിലും ആയാൽ മതി എന്നാവും ആഗ്രഹം. This is the meaning of it. So the aspiration level will change, because why it so happens is we are not ready to work hard. That is what I am seeing among the students. You have a lot of aspiration level. If somebody comes and gives you a good degree with the honors, you will be very happy. But will anybody come and give a degree like that? If somebody comes and gives a very well-paid job, you will be very happy. But will anybody come and give like that? No. Those who have reached heights in engineering, they have perspired and transpired when the others slept. This is the reality. You take about any great engineer who has changed the world. When you were sleeping, they were toiling. So effort is the key to success. No engineer can become. You take any successful person, behind their success, there is a lot of effort put in. This effort doesn't connect with the age, at any age. I have seen one of the very senior most engineer in this country one day was traveling with me in a train. I was seeing that even in train he was reading a lot of documents. At that time he must be around 87 or 88, even while traveling in train. And that is what made him the most famous engineer in this country. So success has got certain traits, and as it says, nothing succeeds like success. And engineering institutions have to voluntarily assume the task of educating the public also, not only students. The public, we are doing a lot of programs to reach out to the public. Why? The institution's role is not limited just to teach you. We also have to make a conducive environment where the contributions of engineers are well recognized. And then we have to provide expert advice to the people who are non-experts. And commitment of engineers to design and develop sustainable technologies. It's not necessary that we develop technology. It is also necessary that we make technologies which will make this earth survive. In your syllabus you will study 2-3 subjects: sustainable engineering, disaster management, professional ethics, etc. Why you study this? Because your duty is not just to create alone. Your duty is also to see that these creations are helping the nature to survive. Otherwise it's of no use. So many social issues are there. The global warming, the global destruction, the water level rising, the ozone depletion, all these things you will study, which all threat the very existence of this earth. And explicit care and concern about technology impact on nature and the environment. So who has to protect the environment? Engineers make the world by new technology. So they also have to evolve technologies by which the nature is protected, the mother nature. Any development which will not make the earth survive is a negative development. So whatever you design, whatever you do, you have to ensure that We are permitting the survival of the earth. So this is what we call sustainable development. Sustainable development means developing without compromising the very existence of the nature. Okay? So engineer's role has to be on sustainable development, not on just development. Non-sustainable development is dangerous for this earth. So when we design, we should have social responsibility associated with us, and we should have basic ethics with us. Ethics means it's not just design or engineering which are concerned, it is the survival of the humanity which is more concerned. When we make comfort for living, we have to have certain thoughts by which energy and food security are addressed, competition and scarcity of natural resources are addressed. Climate change is going to be one of the most disastrous impact. It is predicted that by the end of the century, the temperature in India will rise by 5 degrees centigrade. Right now we have got an average temperature of 42 degrees at Palakkad. By the end of the century it becomes 47. What will happen? Even 1/4 of the Kerala land will be underwater at that time. So these are all some of the frightening realities which we are facing. So engineers have to find solutions for these also. We just don't have to sit idly saying that we are the creators. Creators also have to ensure that they are themselves not the destructors. Okay? So we have to make the earth also survive. So technology interaction with society is also our concern. Not only technology for the survival of society, technology for the existence of society. That is our concern. So while developing the technology, we should also ensure that we are specific about our goals for the survival. And we create the technology so that responsible moral beings are supposed to think about the effects of their own actions and creations, especially if they impact others. What is the impact of the technology which we develop on the nature, on the humanity? If Oppenheimer thought of impact of atom bomb on the society, he would have never made it. But then there was an interview with Oppenheimer which says that maybe it is there, but this is a technology which gives energy now to millions. You know that all over the world around 25 to 30% of the energy is generated from nuclear power plants. Same technology as the atom bomb. You get my point? So technology has got a two-pronged approach. One side where it is positive development, other side it is destruction. That is there with every technology. Overall, engineering is a great profession. Why? You are the creators, you are the wealth makers, you are the designers, and you are the inventors. You find new things, and you make the social changes. You define the target of the society. You define the next generation. Are we not great? We are the real creators of wealth and living on this earth. But while so remaining, we should not forget that we have a lot of commitments also. Don't just claim that we are everything, but when you claim certain things, for example, when you have more authority, you feel that okay, I have a lot of authority. Don't be misled. When you have more authority, your responsibility is more. Every action has got its impact. For example, if you do something, its impact may be restricted to one person. If I do something, its impact may be felt upon hundreds of students and staff. So the impact span is different. So when you are having more responsibility, your responsibility is more. The impact of your actions will be more. That is why engineers have got a wider responsibility on this earth. You are not just creators, you are the destiny of the society. So these are advice to you. When you perform yourself as responsible engineers, protect the safety, health and welfare of the public. Give confidence to the public. Whenever something is going on around, don't frighten the people. Try to understand it and analyze it and come up with solutions. Then contribute to professional advice to civic, charitable or other non-profit organizations. Don't restrict yourself to your own individual activities. For the people, needy people, give technical advice. Guide them how to better things. Tell them how to improve the society. Don't restrict yourself as simple citizens. You are not simple citizens. You have a lot of responsibility assigned to you. Being or becoming an engineer is not an ordinary thing. You see here 143 crores of people are there in the country. Only 1% of them can be engineers. So you are chosen to be that. So your responsibility is more. That means the society is investing upon you so that they can look forward to you as their saviors, as their support. That is very important. And then seek to extend public knowledge and appreciation of the engineering profession. So don't get yourself to be misunderstood. Because you are a professional. Being a professional, you may get more job satisfaction, you have more opportunities. None of the engineers are unemployed now. People say that there used to be unemployment. It's only an imagination now. All the engineers are employed. Only thing is, based on their capacity, the salary will change. To my knowledge, nobody is unemployed. If they are unemployed, they are not trying for employment, that's all. All our past two batches, they are totally employed. So, only thing is, don't think that I am an engineer, so somebody should give me this much pay. No, it depends on your caliber. That's all. And you get all those privileges. You have financial security, you will get social respect. As an engineer, you will be respected. As an engineer, you will have a very good environment, professional environment. Sometimes you will be permitted to work from home. Why all these things being given? Because you are a privileged group. You are a highly privileged group. You would have seen the person who inaugurated your session. Once I asked his salary long back. I was shocked actually. That's why I am not telling them. I couldn't understand how he can spend that salary. Maybe there it is possible. So, why engineers are paid so high? The highest paid employees in the world are engineers. Why so much? And they are change makers. And because of that, you have to give a good image among the people, a positive image. And you should also have the feeling that you are worth something. Don't think that I am a throwaway part. No. You are an integral part of the society. And you are a professional and an expert. Once you get an engineering degree, you are supposed to be an expert. So don't denigrate yourself. Follow the Bhagavad Gita statement. Uttare dhatman atman, na atmanam avasade. Don't let yourself down. Keep up your dignity by yourself. Only when you have your dignity, the people will accept your dignity. This is what is to be done by the engineer. Don't throw away your dignity and don't feel that you are just somebody. You have all these advantages. You are a part of the development of the nation. You are inventors. You have comfortable living. You have technology at your fingertips. You have very good financial income. You have all avenues of communication. After all, you are the most employed people. You see that so many short courses, degree courses are all running around. After 10 years, you see what is the fate of those people. All the engineering graduates will be well placed. Whereas those with some degree in something, what is the job they can do? Some clerical work, some assistance work, some office assistant, but not you. You are going to be creators then. You are going to be software engineers, you are going to be shop engineers, you are going to be field engineers, you are going to be managers. Your profile will be entirely different. You may not understand it right now. Your profile is going to have a drastic change within 10 years of your degree. Whereas the others who sat on your bench in the school days, they'll be in some office doing some menial office jobs. That is not going to be your profile. You may not understand it right now because I am seeing it. I have 40 batches of passed out students with me. I am seeing where they are sitting. When I call the Vice President of Microsoft, I am calling him with the authority that he is my student. This is the point. So, being engineers, you have an extra grace and never compromise it. And this is how an engineer ultimately works. By understanding the problem, by giving solutions, by bettering the system, by bettering the technology, by creating opportunities, and ultimately developing what is essential. At this point of time, you may not understand it well, but I definitely know. Even the lowest scorer in the BTech class will have a major contribution in the development of the society after 10 or 20 years. This is my experience. It will be there. So don't think whether you are a topper in the class. You are definitely going to leave your footprint on the development of the society. And you have a lot of contribution in the development of the nation. And be a part of the nation development. And I come to the last statement of this. Applaud yourself that you have chosen engineering as a career. Nobody need to appreciate you. You appreciate yourself that you have chosen to be an engineer. Can you appreciate yourself? Applaud yourself. And that should be like that forever. Always be proud that you are an engineer. And that feeling of proudness will always go up and up, which we are visualizing. So thank you very much.